Hello, sim racers, and welcome to another live stream. Tonight, we're gonna walk for around 5,137 meters, which means we are going to practically drive around and not walk around Nurburgring GT circuit and try to find our, reference points, where to turn in, how to accelerate, all the stuff, racing lines, and all the stuff. So I hope you will enjoy that. And then afterwards, if we are still alive from the hot and the humidity that we have here, we might gonna try a couple of laps with the Porsche Cayman GT4 car. Why? Because on 3 October, I am going to participate to Sim Sport Racing 12 hours of Nurburgring. Now, I know you say it's on 3 October. We still have like 1 month and a half forwards, but it is a great event. It is for a great cause for mental health, supporting mental health in UK. And so, if you want to participate, in order to secure your post, you have to donate. But it is, as I said, a great cause, very, very important, especially in those difficult times with the epidemic. So I would say go for it. Come join us, and we're gonna have. There are going to be 50 cars, 30 GT3s, and 20 GT4s. So mixed race for 12 hours with 2x multiplier, so 24 hours of day and night. And so yeah, it's gonna be amazing. So yeah, we'll start to get ready slowly. So what a better occasion to start with a circuit walk at Nurburgring. All right, so let's have a go and see what is going on the chat. Hello, everybody. Very nice. Okay. Okay, so here we are. Let's switch the cameras and go directly into the game. So look at this beauty. The Cayman 718 GT4, one of the most beautiful cars in the GT4 series. Also one of the of the cars that they are into a decent ride height. So it looks nice. At least it doesn't look like an SUV. So yeah, so what is CC driving asking me to do? Nice. Oh my god. What is that, mate? Lots of bananas. Nice. Thanks, mate. That's very nice. I look a little flat. Well, at least I'm not round. All right, so let's go in practice. Robson says if the GT4 DLC worth it. Come on, man. I mean, seriously. What are you asking me? Now the chat will explode. Yes. Now, honestly, I think it was one of the best DLCs ever that we released. Actually, both our latest DLCs are really good. So yeah, I would say really yes. I mean, as objective as I can be because I'm the developer, but I think they're really worth it. Wrong aspect ratio on my face cam. Seriously? That's strange. I didn't change anything at all. Let's see how come. Is it better now? Maybe. Is it a little bit strange? Ah, Steve. No worries, man. Anytime. Well, money short. Wait for a sale or something like that. Let's see if we can fix the camera. It says camera boop. Everything's normal. Let's see if I can change something, and in the meantime, break everything. Obviously. Mm. Let me see if I can fix that. Give me a second. So webcam frame. Well, that's normal here. Nothing has changed. It's really strange. I have no idea. I have no idea why. Like that. It just decided to be different. And I don't know why. Γεια σου ρε Παναγιώτη. um, uh, yeah, it really is strange. Yeah, I can see now. Let's see if this changes something. Nope. Mm. Zoom. Inclination. Nothing really. Mm. Bah. Anyway, seems a little bit better. Yeah, looks better. Stream hotfix released. Okay. All right. Let's move on then. Okay, so fast lap. Sorry, slow out lap, and then we can start the circuit walk. Hello, Alvo. Whoops. Hello, Edwin. Hello, Stefano. Ciao, Stefano. Hello, Levi. We'll turn the game sound on later. For now, we don't need it because we're gonna do a circuit walk, which means it's gonna be slow and you're gonna talk a lot, so that we can find out the reference point. So I'm just doing an out lap so I can position the car, and that's it mainly. Hello, Steph. Από την Κύπρο. Όπου είχαμε πάει στην Κύπρο εκδρομή με το σχολείο όταν ήμουν μικρός. Άστα να πάνε. Πολύ ωραίες αναμνήσεις. Hey, NC. Okay, so here we are. Right. Straight, no worries here. But we approach the T1 of Nurburgring, which is one of the slowest turns in the whole championship, and of course the slowest turn here in this circuit. Now, when you approach here, as you can see, there's a little bit of an issue because, and it's better if I show you from above like that. So let's start our circuit walk right here. So as you can see, oops. Oops. Yeah, I've lost it. Give me a second. Okay. I'm losing it. My mouse got crazy. Anyway, the problem here. So T1 and distantly problems. What's the problem here? The problem is that the actual braking zone is not straight. All right. So you have to position your car somewhere in the middle of the road, like that. Okay. And by looking away, far away, actually, let me also enable the mouse because otherwise we won't be able to see anything at all. And still we cannot see it. All right, give me a second, guys, so that I can change some stuff here. You still cannot see the mouse. Let's see if I can make it. Okay, now it's better. I think you can see it now. Let me know. Actually, let me also check on the stream if it works. Yes, now it works. Okay, so minimize this. Now, as you can see, the braking for the T1 is not really a straight line as you arrive. So what you need to do, well, first of all, our reference point is somewhere around this kink. So you see that the exit of the pits is doing an angle here and then goes down straight and parallel with the road. So what you really want to do here is arrive somewhere here. This is the 100-meter. This is where this kind of asphalt outside of the road ends. You want to start your braking before that. Now, as you get better and better, you might start braking a little bit later and later. Depends also. GT3 cars might be able, to brake sooner. So, at first, I would start the braking before the angle of the pit lane exit line on the road. So you can see again, this is the angle here that the pit lane exit white line creates. Start your braking somewhere here or maybe before that to be sure. And the most important thing is uh, do not try to position your car right here. Because if you do this, then as you can see, the whole okay, so let's see this from above. It's much better like that. So you see that the road does actually, there is a slight bend that goes to the left, and you can see this. So you don't want to position your car somewhere around here as you would, normally do. Okay, you don't want to do that because if you do this like this, then during the braking zone you will be forced to follow the turn, and you will be forced to steer. And if you do that, especially with the ABS and the long distances that the GT4 cars have, you will make your braking distance even longer. So what you want to do is always look as far as you can. So arrive with your car somewhere, positioned somewhere here. This is your reference point, as we said. All right. Now, position your car as straight as you can because you want to arrive right at the edge of the road by braking straight. So let's see if I can actually design this. Uh, I should be able. Yeah. Okay. So let's try this. All right. Okay. All right. So what you want to do here is actually, let me see if I can enable this and that. Okay, that looks good, I think. Okay. I cannot do this because obviously it turns my mouse together. Anyway, let's try to do it from here. Whoops. got crazy completely. Very nice. Exactly what we didn't want to do. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. Now it should be okay. So what you want to do is try to create a line that goes over there to the to the limit of the road. You don't want to do this. You don't want to arrive from here and rotate like that, because this will gonna create a longer braking distance for you. Why? Because you're gonna be forced to steer, and when you're steering, obviously you don't have the same grip to all the tires, so the ABS will start, creating problems, and you don't want to do this. So go as straight as possible. Okay, start braking somewhere here as full braking, 100%, and keep on looking as far as possible to the horizon. And I'm not doing nothing right now, so my car keeps going straight. Okay, so keep doing that. Your car will go straight. You will be able to brake as good as possible in the shortest amount of time. And when you see, I'm arriving right on the edge of the road at the moment before the turn in. So arrive here before the turn in, and then start turning in. Now, this is one of those most very difficult turns, because if you do something strange, if you steer a little bit, then the ABS is going to engage, and when it is engaging, your braking zone will gonna get longer, as we said. And if you end up outside of the racing line here, even if there is lots of space here, the problem is that there is much less grip. This part of the road is dirty. There is lots of marbles. There is not much rubber. So also the camber of the road is different. So you don't want to end too wide, because the moment you end just a tiny bit wide, then there is no way to come back again. So you're gonna end really, really wide. So go as close as possible. You can even, go a little bit over the curb here, like that. So you can practically, best drivers jump a tiny bit over here, okay? And then instantly, while you're right after the apex, which is practically this cone here, and it's very easy on this turn. I mean, it's so short that you know where to do. Go on the accelerator. Try to not go very hard on the accelerator. Try to be a little bit more gradual, because if you go gradual on the accelerator, it will help rotate the car. If you go really hard on the accelerator, probably you're gonna either spin the tires too much and go into too much oversteer, or usually the traction control here will understand that something is wrong, and it will engage and it will push you out in understeer. All right, so you don't want to do that. You want to not only go gradual to the accelerator, but also, one of the most important things here is you don't want to end up very wide. You want to already be able to do meters forward. So you want to have your car rotated so that you can do some meters forward and start gaining lap time like that, you see? Because if you are like this, you can already start to steer a little bit less and the car moves forward. Now, from here on, there are many things that you can do. There are a couple of things, that not many, just a couple of things that you can do. Some drivers prefer to, why I'm already always using that? I should, okay. So some drivers prefer to, go as wide as possible and arrive somewhere here. Some drivers, like me, prefer to do a little bit of a closer racing line. Both are very good. Probably for the GT3s, this line here is the best, because the GT3s have the power to get out and then lots of grip to go in again. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. Usually, at least with the GT4s, but also with the GT3s, I tend to not go too much wide. I tend to do something like that, going straight. This helps me making, I mean, probably it's slower, okay, in the entrance, but it helps me make a little bit of less road, and that in the end, for me at least, works in the same way. So I'm not losing much time by not going extremely wide. uh, so what I do is usually I arrive somewhere in the middle like that. Some people, again, as I said, prefer, and I think probably is better, especially with the GT3s, they prefer to go wider, not extremely wide, but wider, at least a car length wider here. Try and see what works better for you. I feel more safe when I stay somewhere in the middle of the road like that. But I'll try again. The most important thing here is that when you arrive at the end of this part of the outside of the road, this is your practically your reference point. You can see it here, to either just touch a little bit the brakes before going left, or just release the accelerator. Depending on the car, you can do either one or the other thing. I usually touch the brakes a little bit, and I keep on, touching the brakes until I feel the car rotating towards the left of the road. Why I'm doing that? Because if you arrive like that into this part of the turn, you still have to keep turning, and waiting before applying the accelerator again. Otherwise, you're gonna end up, wide in understeer. But if I arrive into this turn with a little bit of extra rotation from the trail braking, so a little bit of, a hint of braking, like you see here, something like that, okay, you can possibly rotate the car just enough so that you arrive into this situation with the car rotated like that. Okay, with the car rotated like that, you can go on the accelerator, you can keep the rotation, and usually I start accelerating when I see the Audi Sport here billboard. When I see it more or less at the middle of the road, this is when I will gradually again go into the accelerator. The car is rotating, so I will not go instantly on the accelerator. I want to keep that rotation, and I want to start accelerating as fast as possible. If you do it properly, then the car will end up wide, but not so much wide. You will arrive just at the edge of the road. Now, be very careful. If you arrive at the edge of the road like this, okay, you cannot make it. You will be forced to release the accelerator, okay, and because the this fake turf, fake grass here is extremely slippery, and so if you go over that, you're gonna end up with a lots of understeer. The whole car will go outside, and you will be forced to release the accelerator in order to not get a warning or off the limits drive through. So what you need to be careful and notice what to do is that you want to arrive here. Hello, Che. Welcome. You want to arrive here in a situation like that, so that the rotation maybe and a little bit of slide. If it happens that you have to go a little bit wide, you have to go a little bit wide by sliding with all the four wheels like this. Because if you arrive like that, then you can still retain the control and keep the car in the limits. Okay. All right. So, oops, sorry about that. So let's move on again. Sorry. Now, you go down, possibly in third gear, and what you want to keep an eye here is either this or that part of the road. Now, this is too late here. This is extremely too late, so you have to brake before that. I like to keep my my eyes on this part of the road, right here, this one, okay, where the grass ends practically, because in that way I also keep my eyes into the entry and apex of the next turn. So this is the place that when it arrives to my A pillar, I start braking. So I do it like this. So this comes closer and closer, and somewhere around here, depending on the situation of your car, for your load, tires, and everything, somewhere around there, I start, my braking. This is my reference point for braking for the T3. Now, the T3 curve is, this bend is a little bit of particular. Again, try to not stay too much wide, because again, it's a very dirty part of the asphalt here. There's not enough grip. You're going to end up wider and wider. So turn in a little bit earlier, just a tiny little bit earlier, not too much. And then try to position your inner wheels inside that curb here. So try to position your inner wheel somewhere here. This is the perfect solution, let's say. Now, obviously, once again, I remind you, don't do this on the first couple of laps, because you're gonna end pressures, because the tires are gonna flex a lot, and you're gonna lose some pressure from the tires. Um, so try to position your tires here. Don't overdo it. Don't go too much on the inside, because this is a very particular turn. You're gonna get warning for limits of the road, even if you overdo it just a tiny bit. So be very careful. Sometimes it's even better just to go over the curb here. Don't go too much on the inside. For sure, you're gonna get a warning. It's one of those places that we don't want the drivers to go inside a lot. So watch it here. Yes, Apoelos, the dirty asphalt is modeled. If you go outside the rubbered trajectory, the part outside is really, really very slippery, much more slippery than if you stay uh, on the rubbered line. Right. So what you want to do here is, whoops, lots of curbing here. What you want to do is try to stay as close as possible to the curb for the whole part of the turn and for the exit. Why? Because instantly after this turn, you need to do this kind of line. You need to stay here and then turn for the next turn, and you need to get as good exit from T4 as possible, because after the T4 you have a straight line, and to be fast on the straight line you need to get as good exit as possible. So um, be very careful here. Stay as close to the left side of the road as possible. Switch to second gear and then go in. Now again, here you have two possibilities. One is jump over the curb. The other one is just touch the curb. Both possibilities are equally good. It depends on your car. It depends on your on your setup. It depends on those situations. So try it and find out what is better. So with this car and GT4 cars generally, I will just jump over the curb. Now here's a good thing that you could do. You are arriving here in second gear like that. I will put first gear now, and usually you cannot make this turn flat out. It's impossible to make this turn flat out. So what you can do is you jump over the curb, and the moment you raise and jumping over the curb, you release the throttle for a hint, or just before that, you jump with the throttle release, the car rotates a little bit, and right after you go down again from the jump, instantly go on the accelerator as hard as you can. With the car rotated, you will be able to make the turn, and we will see that in a minute, where we're going to do some fast laps. Now, obviously, the usual rule apply. Go to the accelerator only and only if you are sure that you can keep the accelerator fully open for the whole exit and straight line that follows. If you find yourself in a situation like this, right, that you have so much understeer and you're going so much wide that you are forced to release your accelerator again to get the car inside again, then that means that you are doing it wrong. You probably got way too much speed during the turn, so you have to try again in a way that, okay, you jump, you release, you go on the accelerator, and you keep the accelerator for the whole turn. Now, once again here, again, this turn, as we said, tries to make you slide wide. Don't go very wide here because you're going to get another warning. It's easy to go wide here because you see so much space. There's asphalt. There's no big problem. So you could go wide, but the moment you go wide, you're going to get a warning or you're going to get a drive-through. So again, stay very, very careful at the exit of this turn. You have to remain with your inside wheels on the road, and not, you don't want your inside wheels to go over the white line, because that means you already got a warning. Okay, now straight line as fast as possible, as usual. We move to the right side of the road. Now that is pretty straightforward. It's one of those very, very difficult turns of Nurburgring, but at least there is a very easy to understand reference point for the braking, and then, do your best, as usual. So, ciao Mirko, tutto a posto. So, what do you want to do here? Now, as usual, even at your first lap ever at the circuit, you will find those cones that they are not here anymore, because somebody is trying to get all the width of the road and even some more. So 99% you won't find the cones here. Don't be afraid. The cones are not our reference point. This here is the reference point. So the end of this side road, this part here, all right, this is your reference point. This is where you have to stop. And it's easy to see, because you can see that, the side road ends exactly perpendicular on the road. So start just before that, braking, and as you get better and better, you will start braking exactly here, or just even a little bit later than that. So, ciao Helion. So, Anthony asked what are the track limits. Generally, in whole Assetto Corsa Competizione, the curbs are tracks, because still track. In other sims or in other series, you will probably find out that the white lines are the limits. We also get curbs as limits. Why? Because on those cars we see that the drivers really abuse the track limits, and generally in SRO, GT3 and GT4 racing, the judges are quite benevolent, and they let the racing goes on. So as long as you keep your inner tires on the curb, you're fine. Okay, so this is how it works mainly. Now, obviously, you can't go outside the track limits, and if you raise your foot from the accelerator, at least during the race, the system, the software will try to understand if you have gained time, lap time, by doing so. So if you raise your foot from the accelerator, even for just a tenth of a second, the system will understand that you have not gained any time, and it will not give you any warning. All right? So that is important to remember. If you go outside for whatever reason, raise your foot just for a tenth of a second, like pop, pop, down again, and the system will say, okay, you didn't gain any time, free to race. This is how it works. Hello, Captain. Oh, hangover. Well, that's not a bad thing. Come on. All right, so brake here as usual. Now this is really, really hard. This is one of the most difficult turns of the circuit. As you can see, there is camber that goes down into the road. So you want to start braking from fourth gear. You go down to third gear usually. You brake a little bit straight, and then instantly you start going into the turn, and you want to keep on trail braking with a tiny bit of braking force, like this, something like that. We will see that in a minute. Um, and and you want to start going inside the turn. Now it's very important to stay inside, because you can see there is a lot of camber going down the curb. So the more you stay inside the turn, the better it is. If you stay outside because you arrived way too hot, way too fast, again, this is very slippery here. You're gonna end out of the track on the grass. So it's really hard. The problem here, it's also that if you trail brake way too much, you're gonna end up over that curb and inside the grass here, and that will unbalance a lot your car. You might even end up into a spin. So you really have to be very precise with your trail braking. Rotate the car like that, and somewhere around here, you will feel that you have enough grip on the steering wheel. Your steering wheel will be really heavy, and if you are in that position, you can go really hard on the accelerator. Now, by going really hard on the accelerator, the car will start to slide and rotate. So keep on your foot on the accelerator. You really need that rotation. If you see that the car goes outside, then something went wrong. Instantly raise your foot and get the car together. But if you are somewhere around here and you are not really sure what is happening, keep your foot on the accelerator, keep on steering, and your car will rotate, because you're in third gear, you still have enough power, your car will rotate. And the camber of the road here will keep you inside. Now, if you have done everything correctly, you will slide outside and you will arrive somewhere here. Now, this is again is another turn that you can make different interpretations. I've seen very fast drivers. They exit this turn and then they go as wide as possible somewhere here, and then turn in. Usually, I don't do this. Again, once more, I will go somewhere here in the middle and then turn in again. This is my racing line. Why I do that? Because I found out that in this turn and braking zone, there is lots of rubber, there is good camber again from the other side of the road. I don't feel that I'm gaining that much by going so wide to the left. I even found that sometimes if I end up way too wide here, I can even go brake straight and go like this, really close to the turn. And the camber and the thing that I'm not turning my steering wheel while I'm braking still helps me to make the turn in a proper manner and fast enough. So, I mean, again, as usual, all the live streams we do here is for not for aliens. If you hear of an alien, it will tell you, no, you have to go outside like this. They are right. But in this turn, I don't think you lose too much if you stay in the middle. And even if you are forced for whatever reason, your car is a little bit too much on the wide side, you don't have the time and everything, stay here, okay, like this, and brake in a straight line like that. So just brake straight. That's not a straight line. So just brake in a straight line like this and then go in. It's better to maintain, as usual, as we always said, it's better to maintain control of your car and do the turn properly instead of trying to do the impossible, line and, lose control. So, okay, so you are somewhere around here. You're trying to go to the middle. What is your braking reference point? Your braking reference point is just before the start of the curb. This is the curb here, all right? So you want to start braking just before the curb. You get better and better. You'll probably be able to brake just at the start of the curb. But this is mainly your braking point. As we said, I will end up by braking somewhere around here. Now, this turn, even if it seems to be even if it seems to be just a normal wide long turn, um, actually it has two kinks on its trajectory. So let me show you from above. It's really hard to understand what is going on here. So I don't know if you guys can see. There is one kink here. There's just a tiny bit of a different curvature. Can you notice it? Just one kink here and another kink here. I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but I will try to design it. It's something like here it does like tuck. You see, it's a little bit of an angle, and then you have another angle here. Okay, you have those two angles, 1 and 2. All right. I don't know if you can see it properly here, and you can also see this while you're driving. So what I'm usually doing is I keep braking and trail braking until the first kink. Almost, this is the first kink here, and then I release completely the brake pedal, and then I will try to by releasing the brake pedal. Usually the car starts rotating a little bit more, and I will try to go gradually on the accelerator just before the second kink. This is the second kink here. So just before the second kink, I will try to go on the accelerator. And the more I've seen that, the more I manage to go to the accelerator before the second kink, the faster I get to be on the exit of the turn, and obviously the faster it gets my lap time. Um, so it's hard to understand, but now that I believe that that there are two kinks like that, two angles. Now this is the first one, and then there's another one here. So now that you know it, if you keep on watching on the curb, I believe that you will start to understand better when you have to accelerate. And an indication that you're doing everything properly is that if you are arriving on the second kink here and you are full throttle and the car rotates properly and it does not go and it doesn't go, the car rotates like that and doesn't go wide like this, so it doesn't go there. Okay, this is the indication that you did everything properly. Okay, so this is when you arrive at the king. This is where you want to be. You want the car to already pointing to a rotation towards the exit. This is the indication that you can step on the accelerator, you can stay on the accelerator, and it's going to be really good. So that's the indication for me. Now, out do you go? Obviously, you can use as much curb as you want here, no problems. And can we have a shout out for Gamer Muscle? Go to Gamer Muscle and subscribe. And tell Gamer Muscle to stop it with the clickbait titles. I hate clickbait titles. Come on, man. You know better than that. Don't do clickbait titles. But go there. It's a great channel. Very interesting stuff. Lately he is doing, I know it has nothing to do with the Assetto Corsa, but he's doing some amazing flights with Flight Simulator 2020, which is mind-blowing. So yeah, go there and you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Okay, down we go. Yeah, it's always fun. Gamer Master is fun. So we go down. This is perfectly, nothing really to bother with. Now, here's the difficult part. Now, unfortunately, there is no real reference point. We have this, we have the start from here, but there is no real reference point for this turn, for this, because normally you want to start your braking somewhere around here. and it's difficult. You will see once we arrive here, it's a bit difficult. You could watch the rectangle, the orange end of the guardrail here. Uh, my idea is, do this. Start your braking here at the start of this side asphalt of the road, and then slowly, learn to go a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and at some point you will understand when you're doing, worse. If you start here, for sure you're going to be extremely safe. You will arrive at the turning entry with lower speed than you should have, which means it's very, very safe. But start here and then slowly move 1 meter, 2 meters at a time, and go forward. Now, okay, once you have, now here's one very important thing. You can see how much camber the road has towards this turn. You can see that the turn here does this. You see, the asphalt does this. And also, the asphalt turns like that. So you don't really want to follow this trajectory, because it means that you will be first, to brake and then steer towards the outside. You don't want to do that. You want to take advantage of the camber of the road. So my advice here is go straight like this. This should be your braking zone. So your braking zone should be towards the turn into a very early first apex. This is our 180 degrees turn. Make two apexes, I don't know, make two of them. uh, um, so make two of them. This is the first. It's very early. You need to brake in a straight line towards that. You will end up a little bit wider here, and then second apex somewhere around here for the exit of the turn. So here's what we're gonna do. So as you can see, we will go straight. Okay. Now somewhere around here. Now here's a good reference point that you might want to do also, although it is a little bit difficult. This is another reference point for starting your braking zone. It's a little bit late here. It's really late, so you have to do everything perfectly while you enter. So don't take this reference point for starters. Start braking before and then go towards that. So don't do this. And now you will see that we will try to brake in a straight line like that, going towards a very, very early first apex. So, braking here, this is where I should keep on watching. This is where I look with my eyes, and I keep on braking like that, and I'm going towards the turn. All right? So you go towards there. Sometimes it even pays, and this is really strange, but sometimes it even pays to just go up the curb a little bit with your inner front wheel, because that helps rotate the car. Now, once you are here, you really have to start modulating the brake force a lot, up to the point that you release completely the brakes. Because if you keep on braking, even if you think that, oh my God, I'm going to end up wide because I'm arriving way too fast, if you keep on braking, the ABS will keep on, sliding the car straight. So once you are here, you have already before that, you have to really modulate, and at some point release the brakes completely, and you will see that the car will rotate. Now you want to find your car somewhere around here. So as you can see, I've ended up a little bit wide, and at that point you go on the accelerator again if you have done everything properly. Now usually I start accelerating a little bit before that, and this is the second apex. So when you arrive here, you should be very close on the second apex. Now be careful. On this second apex, depending on your car, especially on cars with mid-engine, don't, I mean, except if you are feeling that you have too much understeer. Don't go over that, because usually if you go over that, your front end will go up. Sorry, and your inner rear wheel will be on the air, and that will start rotating the car way too much. And if you rotate the car way too much here, it means that you are exiting with some oversteer, or the traction controls tries to control the wheels and all that stuff, and this will make you much slower. It is extremely important to uh, go as to get as good exit as possible from this turn. Why? Because the straight line that follows is substantial, and it is all uphill. So even 1 km/h more in exit speed here is really very important, because it is uphill. All the cars have problems accelerating. That's a pretty big uphill here. So you really have to be as good as possible in the exit. All right, good. Stay hydrated. Actually, I forgot. I think I have one here. Yeah, got it. Good idea. All right. So, yes, Steve. Indeed. All right. So we approach the Schumacher S's, the Schumacher Cayman, Schumacher S's. Really one of the most difficult. I mean, I've already said that a couple of times, but this is another really difficult turn. Actually, two turns, because it's left, right, very fast, especially with the GT3 cars. So very hard. Now, pretty much everybody tries to go up this curb. First time you do it, if you haven't already done it before, it's gonna be a little bit. I know that it bothers me when I go over that curb. It bothers me, because the whole car jumps around and moves a lot, right at the point that you have to be as uh, concentrated as possible. And the first time that I did that, it took away my concentration, and I was like, oh, what is happening? So be very careful when you go up that curb, to get as much wide track as possible. Stay with your eyes on your reference point, and your reference point to turn in and either brake or release the accelerator a little bit, depending on the car. Usually I just touch a little bit the brakes, is here. This is your reference point. So start braking at first from here to here, and slowly you will end up starting braking here. Now again, be very careful. You don't have to stay on the brakes a lot. You have to just tap the brakes like that, and then modulate a little bit, not too much, just enough to help you rotate the car towards inside the turn. Now you still have to be very careful with the accelerator. What I do is, usually I go into the accelerator, like that. I stay on the accelerator. I keep the car, maintaining a stable speed. I don't want to lose any more speed. I just want to have some speed while turning in here. Sometimes with some cars you can go over the curb. Sometimes with some other cars it's better to just touch the curb here. But the most important mainly here, is to stay as close as possible until the apex of this turn, and the apex of this turn is somewhere around here. I don't know. Make a point to the Schumacher S again, Michael Schumacher S billboard. When you see that billboard here, after on the right side of the middle of your dash, this is where you really want to nail the accelerator, because if you are somewhere around here like this, even if the car is rotated, because it can happen, so the car points correctly, but you are a tiny bit wide, like that. If you are a tiny bit wide, do not go into the accelerator. Wait, because you're gonna end up really wide. This is really slippery here, and you can see even the whole road here. It goes from this kind of camber, it goes to a negative camber for the next turn. So if you end up wide here before going inside the other turn, you're gonna slide more and more wide, and you're gonna end up into this sand trap. And that sand trap is really, really dangerous. It's not only that it will make you, slower. It is really dangerous. You will spin. Often you will spin coming inside from the sand trap. So stay really, really careful. Try to stay as close to the curb as possible. If you are here, then you can floor it, and you can start sliding outside. Now, again, very important. The car will slide outside. It's not like we'll follow a perfect line like this so that you can. No. You will find your car like this sliding. Okay, if you do it properly and very fast, and you will find yourself like that with the steering wheel, trying to keep the car not going wide on the sun trap. Now, this is very important. Even if your car slides, even if you're going wide, okay, just before going over this curb, because you're gonna end up over this curb, realign your steering wheel. Even if your car is sliding, realign your steering wheel and start pointing straight before going over the curb. Why is that? Because ciao Mike. If you find yourself like this with the car sliding, and you're gonna be into pretty much this situation. Let me show you. Okay. So your car is sliding, and you find yourself like that. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, so your car is sliding with all four wheels like this, and it goes this way, the whole car, but your steering wheel is pointing this way. Not too much, but this way. The next thing that's going to happen when you will go outside here, which is, as you can see, there are marbles, there's, dirt, it's all slippery. So the next thing that is going to happen is that by the inertia of the speed, your rear end is going to step out. And if you are not very careful of what you're doing, you're going to try to cut the slide of the rear end, and you are going way too fast. So when you're going to do like that, the car might have some pendulum effect, and you're gonna lose the balance of the car. Minimum thing that can happen, the best possible scenario is that you're gonna lose time trying to realign the car. Worst possible scenario is that you're going to do into some slapping of the car, and you're going to have problems with the realignment, and this means that you're going to end up into a spin or something like that. Now, there is also something else that can happen that is also very, very important, very risky. Now, practically, if you do this inside the Schumacher S's and you are into a race, and usually into a race you're going to have a car behind you, following pretty closely, this is an extremely, extremely fast bend, and it's also right on the limit of of the balance of the car. So everybody tries to go there as fast as possible with their accelerator full open. Okay. And nobody wants to raise the accelerator in the middle of this very, very difficult turn, because staying on the accelerator gives you stability. So if you are losing the balance of the car, you are trying to realign, and you're losing time, the car behind you is arriving full throttle, and they don't want to, to raise their foot from the accelerator because they know they're gonna have the same issues. And usually what happens is someone will tap you from behind, and then we have an accident. So very, very important. While you are arriving sliding in this situation here, don't stay like that. Already realign the car. Even if you feel the car, sliding, don't go to. There's no need to maintain the car. Look always as far as possible. This is where you have to keep your eyes here, and realign and start, going to the right. This is very important. Now, once again, don't overdo it, because if you go over this sand trap here, there is practically a step. Let me show you what I mean. Whoops, this is very fast. Go a little bit slower like that. So there's practically a step. Look at my tires. You will see that the tires, the wheel go down. Ponk, you see? Tuck. Did you see that? The rear tire. And now you are on the sand trap, and the whole part of this of the car, the whole right side of the car gets slowed down, and the left side keeps accelerating, and so the car rotates. And while it rotates, you go up, down. You see it here. Look at that. Look at that step. Look at here. Tonk. You see? Boom. So you get that step, and the whole car bounces, because you are obviously in very, very fast, 180 kilometers per hour, 190 kilometers per hour. And that means that you get an instant hit, and the whole car bounces, and the rotation is already happening. So you're going to end up into a spin. Really, really dangerous. So don't go ever into that sand trap. If you go on the sand trap, release the throttle and try to not rotate the car. So just, go back into the road again without any throttle, because that is going to put you into a spin. From here on, everything is easy. Exit. All normal here. Obviously, the faster you are, the wider you're going to end up here. Be a little bit careful, but not a big problem. Θανάση, θα σου πω σε λίγο. So, before arriving on one of the most difficult turns for me, actually the most difficult turn for me on this circuit, let's take a break and see what's going on the chat. So, let's have a break here. Γεια σου, Tony. I go inside this turn fourth gear, pretty much in every car, fourth gear into this turn. Καλησπέρα, Θανάση. Mark Johnson asks, is Dirty Air model in ACC? Absolutely. It's modeled big time, but it's not, those cars, for example, the GT4 cars do not have that much of downforce, so they are not affected almost at all. GT3 cars have more downforce, but still they are not affected like, single-seaters or Formula One, of course, cars. But it's also important to know that depending on what car you follow and what car you're driving, the dirty air is modeled differently. And so you have, with some cars, you are affected more. For example, if you are a Mercedes, you're gonna, feel a lot of understeer going behind another car. If you have a Ferrari, you are probably not going to feel much understeer even if you follow another car closely, because it has a better front end, a better splitter that deals with dirty air better. That's why you see often the Ferraris being able to follow, even in real life, follow other cars much closer. Then they go into the straight line, the BOP kicks in, and they cannot, take the slipstream to go away and overtake. But they are very good at following other cars closer. So Thanasis asks, how to get back in shape after a holiday break, 4 weeks? In the only race I could play, I was 2 seconds slower at Spa than I was before. That's a very nice question, actually. One of the best things to get back in shape is not try to do the lap time, but, go into a practice session or into a race session, whatever you want, and do a 1 hour practice race lapping, one lap behind another. Lap, just if it was a race. So forget, the lap time, just drive. I can assure you that by the end of the 1 hour, you close everything, you go to sleep, you wait one day, day after, you're back in shape. No, no, Mark, absolutely, yes. Um, 14.5 CV. Do you know if Kuno staff is aware of a bug or maybe working or fix about special events? I don't know exactly what, but the best way to report such bugs is going to the official forum and report it, because if you do it here, I might forget, I might, don't understand, or it might not go. I mean, usually I will try to remember, but it's late in night and I might forget. So go to the official forums, open a thread, and write it in there. Uh, yes, Eves. Yes, Salo V-like shape. Yeah. Ah, thanks, Tony. Tortellini made a 202. Oh my god, that's fast. Uh, Disgusting. Yeah, absolutely. uh, Downforce for this circuit. Well, for GT3 cars, I would go with mid to high downforce. Mid to high downforce. Yeah, not too much, but mid to high. Yeah. For GT4 cars, usually use as low rear wing as possible, because the car have, all the cars have no real power, and the rear wing doesn't really, offers that much of a downforce, because it's usually positioned very low. So, you use the rear wing just for balancing. But we will talk about that in a minute. Alpha Salute says, if I like the 2019 version more than 2018, the tight chicane. Actually, for GT3 SRO, there was always the faster chicane. The tight chicane is either for VLN, maybe, or certainly for the Formula One. I like it more with the fast chicane, but boy, is it difficult to take it right. Um, I have no idea, Mike. Um, what happened, Thanasis? You don't mean? It's okay. It's okay. Frustration is always part of, of the of race driving, of racers. So it's okay. Yeah, true. Okay, so let's move on. Uh, yeah, let's move on. And yeah, my nemesis. This turn here really is my nemesis. So we approach here in fourth or fifth gear, depending on the car. And the braking zone is pretty easy. It's before the 100 meters. Obviously, this billboard will disappear probably because someone will gonna get it straight on. But you still have the grass here and the line of the asphalt, so you can check this and start braking. I would start braking, before that, and then slowly go in and in. Now, this is one of my problematic turns. I'm not good at that turn, and not only I'm not good, but I often get my car really unstable at the turn-in of this turn. Probably because I'm not using the correct trail braking technique, uh, and it's really frustrating for me. So I will tell you what I'm doing on this turn. If you have any better ideas, please let me know on the chat, and we can discuss it. Maybe I can learn something myself too, and I would be very, very glad about it. So as we said, we start braking just a tiny bit before the AstroTurf here, the green part, and I will keep braking at the first part straight like that, and then I will start going inside the turn a little bit earlier. Not I will not wait, to go as straight as possible. I will start going into the turn earlier. Now, why do you want to do that, Aris? Because there is some kind of camber here that goes like this, and personally I've noticed that if I go earlier here like that, you know, the turn keeps me in, and then I will go and jump over this inner curb right here. Now, um, um, so I will try to do this. Now, it's really, really hard to modulate the braking pressure here and the trail braking that you need, especially with the GT3 cars. Often, if I have my car, balanced for every turn of the circuit, I will arrive into this turn, and exactly here, the rear end will just go out of hand, and I will have lots of oversteer in the turning, and I'll have to correct, and I will get much, much slower, or I will end up very wide, whatever I do. I mean, it's a mess for me. So this is something that I do in every circuit, that there is one turn, just one turn, that gives me big trouble. I will try to make a setup that makes me confident and safe into this turn, first of all. Why? Because my mentality is always that. I mean, as I said, I'm not an alien. I'm not going for the absolute win. I'm not going for the absolute performance. My mentality is, if I feel confident, I can push the car. If I don't feel confident, then I'm gonna end up spinning somewhere, and that will ruin my race, will ruin my entertainment, will ruin everything. So on some circuits, there are some turns that they are extremely difficult for me. This is one of them. I will make so that the setup suits my driving style and makes me safe during this turn. Once I have this turn dialed in with my setup, I keep lapping and lapping and lapping, and then I will start compromising my setup to get better to the whole circuit and slowly get worse here. Why do I do that? Because if I'm confident with that turn and I can nail it, and I can I can do the line that I want, not necessarily very fast, but I can do the line that I want, lap after lap after lap, then I start to be better on, making the turn properly. So every time I will start braking at the exact reference point, I will start turning in at the exact racing line that I want to follow. I will follow the racing line inside the turn, and so on and so on. That will make me a better driver in that turn. Even if the setup sucks in the whole rest of the lap, this will permit me to get better into driving this turn. Now, once I have, I can drive this turn lap after lap without problems and without issues, then I will start to tweak the setup to make it work into the other bends. And even if that means that the car will start to become harder to drive into that turn, the practice I have made, the muscle memory that I have created, and the confidence that I have created before will help me to drive this turn better. So this is what I'm doing. Up to a point that, again, I will start to have issues, so I will go one step back again. So this is usually what I'm trying to do. So, as I said, I will try to go up into this curb in a good way. So look again, the car from the outside. This is how the situation is for me, okay? And somewhere after the initial jump into this, sorry about that, into this curb, I will go into the accelerator. Now, usually the moment I go down from this curb, I'm onto the accelerator, the car will over-rotate, will start going into oversteer. I will have to, drive, I will have to work with the steering wheel in order to keep my foot down and make the turn. I will also have to be very careful to not go very wide here. You don't want to go very wide here, because once more uh, we have um, the this curbstone, I don't know how it's called, which is very slippery. And of course, if you end up so much wider here, you're gonna get a warning. So you don't want to end up with your whole car here. You want to end up somewhere like this. Um, so again, try to make a setup that is safe so that you can drive this turn. Drive this turn a lot of time, make a lot of laps. Don't start to change your setup because the car is understeer or oversteer into the rest of the circuit. Okay, keep the car and the setup proper for this turn, and just tap your nose, drive the car, whatever the situation is, for the rest of the circuit, lap after lap after lap. After you feel really confident with that turn, then start changing the setup again to suit the rest of the circuit. Now, out of this turn, the situation here is pretty easy. You go as wide as possible, okay, and just before the end of the circuit here, of the guardrail here, tire wall, or just before the end of the side asphalt here, you go into the brakes. You have again to trail brake here. You want to rotate the car because the car will tend to go wide. Now, again, this takes practice. It's not a difficult turn in terms of you don't really risk something into this turn, but it takes practice to do just the correct trail braking in order to rotate the car, stay close here, and not go over that curb. If you go over that curb, you're going to lose a lot of time because the car will bounce and jump over this. You're gonna have issues, with the balance of the car. It's not that hard to keep control of the car here, but you're gonna lose a lot of time. You don't wanna go wide because again, it is very slippery if you go outside. And most importantly, you really want to start accelerating here as soon as possible, because we have two straight lines going downhill, and the bend that connects those two straight lines is a flat out bend. So you really want to go as good exit as possible from this turn. This turn here makes or breaks the whole lap time for those very long straights that follows. So again, the exit is very important. We go downhill, long straight here, downhill. Hi, Mike. And as we said, again, this turn here is flat out. All right. Now, here's one situation here. I've seen some people, I know, again, this is basic information, but it's always important to remember. I've seen some people arriving into this turn, and because it is flat out in whatever, racing line you want to do with it, even if you're not taking advantage of the whole width of the road, I've seen people arriving a little bit, closer, steering a little bit too much. You still can make the turn, no big deal. But as you know, the more steering input you give, the more friction you generate from the tires. The more friction you generate from the tires, which is not straight friction, the more your engine will have issues to accelerate the car. Okay, so even if it is a very easy turn, it is extremely important to look ahead of you, away, and use as little steering wheel as possible. Use really as little steering input as possible. Make a really wide trajectory and racing line, so that you don't have to make your steering. Oops, let me try to how to do this. Okay, right. It's not easy, guys. Okay. So you really want to take advantage of the whole width of the road and make a really, really, really wide radius here. Because if you turn a little bit more, if you, for example, arrive somewhere here, okay, you go a little bit forward, and then you turn like this, and then you end up, I mean, you can still make the turn, no big deal. And you can still think, oh, it's flat out, no problems. No, because if you do it, you're gonna lose 1-2 kilometers. All right, why? Because, as I said, the the extra steering input will generate friction from the front tires, and that will bog down your engine. So you don't want to do that. So little steering input, make the car, maintain its speed. Don't lose speed here, because again, as you exit this turn, you still have a long straight. So you really need even 1 kilometer per hour. It is important for you. Right. And here we are. And that's one of the most exciting chicanes in the whole championship. Really, really fast, third gear usually in pretty much every car. Now, how do I approach this turn? I try to brake as late as possible, but it is hard. So I try to brake before the 50 meters, but way, way after the 100 meters. So you can watch this. I don't know how to call it here. This thing here, probably some, I don't know, TV tower or something like that. Once you are arriving here, don't wait too much, but start braking. Obviously, brake straight line as hard as you can. Put in the third gear, and then, obviously, being a chicane, you really have to try to cut it straight as good as possible. Here's one thing: you could keep on braking, and I've seen aliens applying just a tiny bit of brake in order to help them to go in. But honestly, I don't want to rotate the car here, because if you rotate the car and you're losing stability on the rear, it's gonna be really a mess. So what I'm doing is, while I'm at the turning point here, I will practically release the brakes, even if I know I'm arriving way too hot, way too fast. Release the brakes, and then, without even giving the accelerator or anything, try to turn the car here. And you want to go up here, but not get the full second curb here, because that is going to make your car jump a lot. So you want to arrive somewhere around here like that. Okay. Again, look at it. You see? Just, oops, let me make it a little bit slower so that we understand what we're doing. You just want to just touch, the inner curb like that. And you want to touch this curb not like this, but with as little steering input as possible. Again, for the same reason, because if you are like that, the whole car will rotate, and then you're gonna, once you go down from the jump, because you're jumping. Once you go down with the jump with the steering wheel like that, the whole car will try to rotate. Your rear end will lose stability, and it's going to be really, really bad. To go fast into that chicane, you need as much rear end stability as possible. So you use as little steering input as possible. You jump over here, and then you try to get this one. You really want, with the inner wheels, to go over the second curb here. Okay, so go into the accelerator, try to stabilize the car. Okay, and you really want to go straight and boom, jump over here. But here's the trick: you don't have to overdo it, because doing like that is good. But if for whatever reason also your left side wheels, you cut so much that you go over this with the other wheels, this is going to end up really, really bad. It's going to end up bad, and the whole car is going to jump, and you're gonna really slide to wide, and you're gonna lose the car. So what you really want to have here happening is that you arriving here, you're gonna jump, and you really also want just before the jump, because you will arrive like this, just before the jump, you want to have some extra steering input here. Why? Because that will make the car roll to the outside of the turn, to the left side, and the inner wheels will be very light. So being light, they are not going to get a big impact by going over this curb. So you are going to jump, but not too much. If you arrive like that, then the whole car will jump. If you arrive like this with some weight transfer to the left side, then the car will just instantly jump. If you do it properly, the car will slightly rotate here, and you will feel that you are capable of, giving it the whole accelerator, completely open throttle. Now, this is where you have to work with the steering wheel. When you are exiting here with full throttle, the car will want to go into a slide, oversteer, do some stuff. But if you work with the steering wheel, and again I remind you, point where you want to go, oversteer, correction, and instantly realign to the point. Again, look at my older video about how to correct a slide, how to catch a slide, and this here happens a lot. So point here, oversteer, correction, instant realignment. Okay, the instant realignment, this is what is going to save you, and you're gonna need to do this a couple of times. And if you do it properly, you're gonna end up here, or even just a tiny bit over that curve. This is perfection. Right, so last turn. Unfortunately, we don't have any reference points here, which is really, really hard. And sometimes even you're gonna have the sun early in the morning right here, and it's gonna be completely impossible for you to judge where you are sitting on on the racing track. And at least you can't even see here the rubber line, so you can't see anything. But at least we have something, and here it is. This part here, there is some baldness in in the grass. This is my reference point, so you can use that and start your braking a little bit before, or right on the that flat spot, bald spot of the grass. This is your braking point. Now again, we gear downshift down to second gear. Lots of trail braking here. We try to rotate the car. Don't go over that curve, because it's gonna it will want to rotate your car even more, and you might hit the inner side of the guardrail, and you don't want to do that. So do it like that. After the start of the guardrail, a little bit, sometimes you need to wait, sometimes you can go farther, but usually after the start of the guardrail, I start going gradually over the accelerator. And if the car rotates and I have stability, and the car still rotates and doesn't go into understeer, you can go flat out as much as possible, and finally exit. And finally, we have one lap on the Nurburgring GT. So this is a circuit walk on the Nurburgring. I hope you liked it. I hope you find it interesting. So let's go to the chat and see if we have some questions. Well, first question is if we're gonna have the possibility to turn left instead of turning right. So because of that, everybody has to drink, and so let's drink. Right. Okay. So let's stay here. Let me put. It's okay. Right. So let's see some questions here. Well, John Smith says so. We don't simulate dynamically simulate the quality of the grass. Disappointing. True, indeed. Actually, there was we had this. We had the possibility. Actually, we had some shaders made to simulate different situation of the grass, more green. Uh, Summertime, autumn, and so on. But in the end, for a lot of reasons, we decided to not do it. It depends. Daniel asked if ACC tracks are rescanned or if we use AC assets. Some of them were rescanned, other ones we used the AC assets with some updates. It depends every time if the actual real track needed or not the rescan. Oh, Leonard goes there to the real track to see the GT Masters. Nice. Uh, cool, cool. NC Forum is in the chat. If you know the guy, he's the developer behind ACC CDS, um, which is the complete DAS set, the external plugin for Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione. And he just said that in about 2 weeks he's gonna have some updates, some code fixes, and some extra stuff for his development. So in 2 weeks we'll be here to have a look on that. Frozen asks, what tracks are missing for track walks? Too many. mm. Levi asks, when you are coming out of a turn, when is the best time to accelerate? Is it when the car has straightened out, or in a straight line, or is it while the car is still turning? The sooner the better. That's the idea. And the sooner is while the car is still turning. What you need to find out and take a reference point on that is when you can start accelerating while turning and still make the turn. Because once again, I remind you, what we really want to do is go into the accelerator, and once we go into the accelerator, we don't want to raise our foot from the accelerator up until the next braking zone. If you are into the turn and you start accelerating, and at some point you realize that you're going wide into understeer or you have way too much oversteer, so you are forced to release the accelerator and then go to the accelerator again. This is an indication that you went into the accelerator way too soon. So you have to try again the next lap and go to the accelerator a little bit later, again and again and again, up to the point that you go into the accelerator while turning and you can keep your foot on the accelerator, straighten, move through the whole straight line and up to the next braking zone. This is what you want to do. NC Forum is working now for Fanatec. Nice. Congrats, man. Whoa, wait fast. Well, yes, there are always features that do not make into a final release, but us, we never have a final release really. Final release is when we say, okay, that's it. We have to switch to another project, as we did with the Assetto Corsa One, and that's the final release. But until the final release, we always, try to improve. Ciao, Manuel. Grazie. Thanks, Daniel. I think all developers do as good as they can. All have their own, experience and knowledge, whatever. Each one of us is, pushing the other one to get better, and that's what we also do. Mm-hmm. Yes, Tom, I will drive a couple of fast laps. Manuel, non lo so ancora. Yeah, John Smith, exactly. By the way, thank you, Daniel, Stephen, Francisco, and Roger Slur for the following. Again, guys, as usual, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, all that stuff, that makes the channel famous and me famous and all the stuff. Yeah. um, Philip Tupojevic asks, in hindsight, what are cars from AC1 that I'm most proud of? Also, how would you compare AC1 GT3 cars to ACC ones? Um, I'm pretty proud of many road cars that have many active systems. For example, the Porsche GT3 RS that we did. Um, Many Porsches have lots of active systems. So the GT3, it has active differential, it has active aerodynamics. The 488 has active aerodynamics. It even has active four-wheel drive steering, and we tried and we managed to simulate all of that, and we simulated properly, and it really, you can feel it while driving, how the car can you can rotate the car stays stable when you want to, the car rotates when you want to, all that because the real steering wheels, it's not. Now, if you go, for example, into the press release of the car, of the real car. The press release simply says, okay, under 80 kilometers per hour, you turn to the left and the rear wheels turn to the right. And over, 80 kilometers per hour, whatever, you turn to the left and the rear wheels also turn to the left. That's it. Up to 3 degrees, that's it. But it doesn't work like that. It's much more complex. Uh, Actually, the rear wheels turn towards or against, and then could go back again, depending on the inputs they get from some yaw gyroscopic sensors, steering wheel inputs, speed, g forces, and everything. And they do all that in order to try to either rotate the car and then maintain stability or add stability if needed. And so we had to analyze and find out how that all that stuff works, and we simulated it. In fact, if you can, go and make a couple of laps, and then you do a replay and you position your camera on the rear wheels, you will see them moving and going back, even if you're still doing things with your steering wheel, different things. And so you will see them going, inside and then go back and then go inside again, go back. So they do different things, and that's pretty amazing. Also, very cool stuff we did with the um, hybrid systems. All that works properly, and I believe, I'm pretty sure we were the first simulator that simulated active steering, rear wheels, active um, uh, aerodynamics. What else strange? The hybrid systems, all active, all getting data from telemetry. I'm pretty. I'm pretty cool about all that stuff that we did in Assetto Corsa 1. Uh, Comparing Assetto Corsa 1 GT3 cars to ACC 1, well, obviously ACC cars are much more realistic. There's no doubt about that. The Assetto Corsa 1 GT3 cars didn't, first of all, many of the data are the same because we already had some pretty good data on the Assetto Corsa 1 cars. But uh, first thing, we weren't simulating a specific series, so we had three tire compounds for the cars. Uh, while in the SRO GT3s, there's just one compound for dry, one compound for wet. The next thing we did properly is that in Assetto Corsa 1, there is only one BOP, generic BOP, that obviously going from one track to the other doesn't change. While in Assetto Corsa Competizione, every circuit car combination has its own BOP specific, very precise, gets the BOP from the real BOP and so on. The aerodynamic simulation is much better in Assetto Corsa Competizione, much more realistic. The tire model has improved a lot. Stuff in the suspension improved. The dampers are much improved in the Assetto Corsa Competizione, and so on and so on. obviously, I mean, in reality, if you brake in a straight line, the car remains stable. Obviously, that happens always. Tebs, I didn't exactly understand what you mean. Mark, no, I don't think we are ever going. I mean, for Assetto Corsa Competizione, we are not going to implement a more detailed visual damage model, unfortunately, and certainly not bits of car flying off, because in our licensing agreements, especially with some manufacturers, we are not permitted to make bits of cars flying. And obviously, if you cannot do it for one, then it doesn't make sense to do it for another car. So it is as it is. I'm the first to say that the damage modeling in our titles suffers a little bit. We're not the best in damage modeling. We are the best in other things. We're not best on that. I'm first to say it's okay, but not really exciting. Let's say. Any plans of for adding an API on getting statistic of a driver? It depends what statistics you want, I guess. There is already the shared memory that gives many data, but I don't know if that data is part of the things that you need. Will there ever be a female engineer? I hope so in the future. I don't know, honestly. We have to start, putting females inside, because it's a pity. I mean, we already seen many girls, doing great things in sim racing right now. Uh, Unfortunately, say it was a 99.9% male hobby, but hopefully more girls are becoming video gamers, and more girls are coming into sim racing. So we should put the possibility to have the driver female, have the engineer female, or whatever. I know that Alithea, right? Sorry if I didn't spell it correctly. With the SimGrid, they are creating a whole female series, which is really great. So really looking forward on that. Uh, Thanks, Ture. We have announced that in the console will lose support for ACC. I don't think so. I mean, ACC on the console still have a long way to go. No interest on working on what? I mean, it just got out, so we have plenty of patches and versions to get the DLCs and everything. I mean, it has to be at least as mature as the PC version. So, um, John Doe says a trainer in real life car training I did said that because of better braking than accelerating in nearly all modern cars, slight late apex is better than the classic U shape. What's my opinion on that? Uh, this is true. I want to show you something extra. So let me see if I can. Oops. Let me see if I can show you this. Sorry about that. All right. So let's see the circuit from above. All right. Nice. All right. Cool stuff. Oh my God. Where is the? I've lost again. Okay. So here it is. So I want to show you something that I think it will make you understand, and everybody, why exit, turn exit is very important. I'm not saying that braking is not important. Braking is very important, but if braking is very important, exit are just as important, or even much more important than braking. At least if you're not, I mean, if you are up to the alien, but not alien. All right. If you're up to a very good driver, exit is the most important thing. While you are moving from very good driver to very, very good driver and alien, then braking becomes more important, because to arrive to that level, it means that you already know what to do into the exits. So now I want to show you why braking is important, but not that much important as exit. So here's the braking for T1. This is it. All right. Here's the braking for T2. Okay. Braking for T3. Braking for T4. Practically no braking. Let's put a point here. Now this is the braking for T5. Braking for T6. Now somewhere around here we have the braking for T7. Braking for the Schumacher S's. Braking for the dreadful turn here. Braking for the next one. And finally, somewhere around here, braking for the final, for the chicane, and somewhere here, braking for the final turn. So the red lines, right, are the braking zones for each turn that we have in the circuit. It's easy to understand that the percentage that you are now during a whole lap, the percentage of braking is ridiculous of the whole lap. I mean, how much is it? If you put all these, braking zones together, okay, if you put it one besides another like that, this is all your braking zones, and then you put the straights. I don't know if I can change color here, for example. Probably not. Pen. Yeah, let me change color. So green is acceleration. Okay. So this is the acceleration. I mean, look at that. This is the acceleration, acceleration, acceleration. Okay. So, I mean, you get the point. Okay. All that stuff is accelerating. Accelerate. This is how much you accelerate into every single lap. Okay. So every kilometer per hour that you gain, every single meter that you manage to accelerate earlier at the exit of each turn, every single meter that you manage to gain in acceleration, you keep it for the whole straight line. So if you accelerate here 1 meter before and you have 1 kilometer per hour before, you still have 1 kilometer per hour before into this whole zone somewhere around here where you hit your top speed, and then it's identical. But for the whole straight line, you still have that 1 kilometer per hour more. And as you can see, the acceleration during the whole lap is way, way, way much more time that you spend during a full lap than braking. Braking is just a tiny bit of a whole lap. So yes, it is important, but the acceleration is way more important to become faster when you are into the low to medium high level. From the high level, that you do all the acceleration properly, from the high level to the alien level, then braking is more important. But up to the high level of driving capabilities, the acceleration is the most important stuff. Uh, yeah. The free roam camera is F7 and then the mouse and. Yeah, Panayoti, ακριβώς. Braking zones are only 20%, even less than 20%. Yeah. Uh, Cross says, doesn't the braking into a turn directly affect your ability to accelerate? The line affects the ability to accelerate. Braking, well, let's take it for granted that you can brake down to a proper, speed so that you can make the turn. But once you have made the turn and you have arrived on the apex, then you have to accelerate. And so you need the correct line to be able to accelerate sooner, and exit better. Again, as I told you, if you are from the low level of driving technique up to the medium high level of driving technique, the acceleration is the most important part, because I've seen so many people trying to brake as late as possible. The end result is that they arrive very badly into the apex, as you said, and they cannot accelerate. And because they accelerate so badly, and they don't think that the acceleration is the most important part of the lap time, they are so slow. Okay, so brake in a way that you are safe. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So you arrive at the T1. Okay, now I've seen people in the T1 which are medium drivers, nothing bad about that, and they try to brake here. Don't do that. You're gonna end up way off balance. You're gonna end up having problems. Start your braking zone here, all right, and make it so that you brake properly. You brake in a straight line. You arrive properly on your turning in point, and you can go inside the turn with your car stable, having the best possible line. Because if you are arriving like this, now you can accelerate without problems, and that improves your lap time. Okay, but if you have arrived on the apex because you started braking way too low, and you arrive on the apex like that, and you're here, then you have to wait, keep on braking, keep on braking. At some point, you will rotate your car. You will be here. You will see the straight line and say, oh, yeah, finally I can accelerate. Now, this is obviously exaggerated situation, but as you know, even small errors produce, bigger errors in lap time. Right, no worries. Okay, guys. I guess, well, that wasn't that bad, right? So let's go back to the garage, and let's move this down. So what we should do? Should we do a couple of laps, maybe? Let's see what we can do. I had already some practice uh, with the SimSport Racing team that I will be running together. They kindly invited me to the race, and they have asked me to race on their own car. So we are going to race, as I told you, on the Nurburgring for 12 hours with this Porsche Cayman. We're going to have a much better livery, but anyway, I mean, custom livery. And we already worked a little bit on the setup. I will not show you the setup right now because we're still working on it. I had some laps. I had some experience on the track. So let me load this setup. What was it? Okay, but this time we did some laps on high fuel. I want to do some laps on lower fuel, so I will go to 80 liters on high fuel. Sorry, I'll go to 80 liters and try to do some laps. I don't know about those plans, guys. I'm not the one, taking decisions about that. believe yes, probably, but honestly, I don't know. For CP servers, GT4 dedicated. I think they started like that for to check what is going to happen, and then slowly they will change it. No, guys, I won't do any video for the Ferrari Sports Series. I tend to move on. No, there is no plan, Helion, about that. Sorry. All right, let's do a couple of faster lap times. All right. Yes. Faster lap times means that you guys need to hear more the engine. So let me go here and put it something around 40. Turamato says, how do I deal with the current explosion in sim esports? Do you think it influences the development of your titles in the future? Uh, it's a great thing. It's nice, to be honest. Except some visibility. If I told you that we've seen some sales raise, I wouldn't say so, honestly. Uh, so yeah, it's a lot of for us that we are sim racers. There's a lot of noise and it's fantastic, but honestly, I'm not so sure that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a delicate subject. It's not so easy. It brings a lot of work into the developers with not much of a return. I mean, I think we gain more good perception from the community and more sales, let's say, if we do something to make the community happier, some future or some new implementation or whatever. But it is something that's happening. It is something that it is here to stay, I believe, for the future. So probably in the future, everybody will have to keep in mind this situation and see what can do to improve the situation. Um, uh, Avia, I don't think it that. Avia says too much varied content, loss of detail. That is what Kunos proved with ACC. Yes and no. Now it's true that ACC has much more detail, but it's also true that we got better and with more knowledge. I don't believe that if we ever do, I don't know, Assetto Corsa 2 or whatever you want to call it, we're gonna, we might end up doing a GT3 with less detail. We're gonna do it exactly the same, or usually with even more detail possible, because this is what we do. I mean, we know that we cannot make a game that has better, for example, photo mode than Gran Turismo. No, right? Um, but what we are good at is collecting details and implementing them and make as good as physics as possible. This is our this is why people buying our products. So that's what we're trying to do. So I don't believe that if any future title arrives, it will have less detail, even if it's more varied. I think we're gonna do even more crazy things. Drink, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely true. Who knows? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Ciao, ciao Simone. Po' che non ti ci vedo, stai bene? It depends. So it asks about the track scans. Do all development teams scan tracks themselves, or do they buy same data to specialized company? It depends. Some trucks have the laser scanner; they might give it to you. Many trucks actually expect the developer to scan the track, and then you do a deal, and they can sell this laser scan to I don't know, Formula One teams or stuff like that. So it really depends on the occasion. There's no fixed situation. Oh, no worries. See, thanks for the question. Hey, Fabian, thank you, mate. Um, Absolutely, Assetto Corsa still goes really, really strong today. So many modders, some exceptional modders doing extra graphics card like uh, the Russia guy. We are actually we talk with the guy is really, really good. Well, it depends. It's, as I said, there are no rules of thumb. It's not like, oh yeah, I will stiffen the real rates and everything will fix itself alone. It really depends on a lot of factors. It certainly gave you better aero stability, but that doesn't mean that it didn't provoke some mechanical oversteer. So it really depends. Ilya, yeah, Yusupov, yeah, great guy. All right, so let's do a couple of laps. Couple of laps.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
All right, as we said, slowly into the accelerator. A little bit of inside here. Oh, not good. But still, very, very cold tires. And we also have to be careful on our tires right now for at least 1 or 2 laps, as they are very cold with very low pressures. See, second kink already on the accelerator. GT4 no, non hanno termocoperte. Here the apex. You see, I remained on the braking a little bit too much. You see, exactly what we said before. Oh yeah. Huh. Okay, so braking straight. Oops, no, first gear is way too low with this car. You see how I locked the rear tires? So second gear will be enough. You see a little bit wide here. Wide here. You see how you end up really wide if you cannot make the turn properly. Hi, Leonardo. Take care, man. Still not driving very nicely. Ooh. Hi, Coconut. A good example of bad example, always, always, yeah. Release the brake and go into the accelerator here. What? I don't know, Daniel. For sure we do. That's better, but a little bit too wide. I ended a little bit too wide. That's better here. Over rotation. First kick, second kick, I'm already on the accelerator. I'm ending up a little bit too wide there. I need to brake a little bit sooner. That was much better. Oh, not good. As soon as possible on the accelerator. Ha! Formula fun! Asks about the Notch Life. A drink! We have a drink game here. Oh, you see? Oh, that's bad. Oh, lost it completely. That was a little bit better, not much. Oh. Ugh. Actually, I can recommend something for books. Let me know after the laps, and I'll tell you. I'm driving the Cayman. Yeah, bad. Very bad. Hello, Jonathan. I'm not driving. I'm not driving very good. Okay, let's try to do the chicane properly. Ah, yeah. Let's try to do the chicane properly. Zoom, straight. Jesus. Ah. I'm trying to understand how good, how bad I'm driving, and where I have to focus. No, I'm not happy with the lap time at all. No, we'll take care of that in a minute. Need a couple of laps to, focus myself on the driving. I'm still reading the chat way too much right now. Jesus. Wow. What was that? Probably, yeah, Jonathan.
Well done, mate. That's the best.
Oh, that's terrible. 207. See how I go gradual on over the accelerator. That's better here. That was bad. Still bad. You see how I realigned the car before going over there? Yeah. Let's go forward a little bit with the brake bias. A little bit better. Still not a good lap.
Well done, mate. Fastest lap so far. That goes much better, and you can see the delta already going from red to 0.
Still problems with this turn in. Little bit better. Small steering input. Bah. I don't know, Tom. I don't know about that. Ah! Too much. Lost it all. I think I already have a track guide for Brands Hats. Correct me if I'm wrong. Should be in the into the circuit walk playlist of the channel. Ah, very bad. Okay, so let's go a little bit back to the garage. What did we do? 5 lows. Bah. I think I can do a 4. I would like to go a little bit forward here. And now I have lots of fuel. So the problem with this car, by the way, is that being a typical Porsche, you have the fuel tank at the front. Oops. So you have the fuel tank at the front here. You see? So here's the fuel tank. Okay. And obviously, this is a problem because it is so much far away from the center of gravity, which on this car is pretty much around here, and then you have the fuel tank here. So when you have full fuel tank, all that weight, which is 80 kilos, something like that, it makes the car, it brings the center of gravity forward, and that means that you start to get some different some different weight balance of the car. You might get extra oversteery situation in turn in while under the braking and so on. Now, as you move on and you keep on, racing, the fuel empties and you get a much lighter front end, and so the center of gravity shifts back to the rear again, and then you get more stable at turn in, but you might get different problems. You might get understeer at the exits and so on. So you need to do something about that. No, sorry, Pixel guy. Don't have exact info on the console. It's everything for that stuff. You need to follow the official channels and see what they say about it. I do know they work about it, so I would expect something pretty soon. Not too much, Diesel. Weight balance, fat driver. Yeah, let me find the books. I'll tell you exactly where to go, what to see. Oh god. Give me a second, guys. In the meantime, we can all watch a replay. I think it's a good opportunity. somewhere around there. Okay, nice. Okay, let us watch the replay while in the meantime I'm looking for the books. Um, your data driver, your data driver. Okay, so let me lower a little bit the sound here, because otherwise you're gonna get completely deaf. Nice. Okay. Books. Now, um, I got invited by a great guy. Um, let me exactly find out everything. Sorry about that. So I got invited by Samir Abid, who is a great instructor in the UK, United Kingdom. He has a great website for his business, and he's doing a pretty cool podcast. Both the website and the podcast are called Your Data Driven. And this is the actual link. So I got invited from him, and we did a podcast together. It was really, really good guy, extremely knowledgeable, real, life knowledge. Uh, Really, really good, and hopefully we will do more stuff with Samir. I might, do one of his tutorials, of his courses. He has online courses too, and we might be able to live stream it together so we can show you what you can do. And as you can see on the website, there's a ton of information, with really, really good information over there. And one of the things that he has here is a page with books, list of good engineering books, right? So obviously there are lots of very hard books to digest over here, but there are also good and interesting books uh, to to uh, to learn from. There is all about how to build a car, how to set up a car, how to read telemetries and stuff like that. Highly recommended. Go there, visit his website, subscribe to his podcast, have a look on the book lists that he has over there. Uh, I think it's really, really worth it. I really hope to be able to do more stuff with Samir. Amazing guy. And if you live in the UK and you have the possibility, go and do one of his courses with real cars, or even one of his theory courses for how to handle the car, how to drive, and so on. They are not really expensive. They're not that expensive, and I believe you can really gain some inside information, and become a better driver, and understand also better your car. So uh, I'm not doing advertisement for him. It's really worth it. That's my opinion. So this is it. um all right, let's do a couple of more laps. Let's do a couple of more laps. So setup. um I wanted. Yes, I will pin that link. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do, Dazzle? I'm gonna do a small video. Too long didn't read, just with that information, and I will give again that stuff in there, or something like that. Simizard, yes, if you check the changelog when we released the 2019 version of the circuits, there is information about the circuits, namely and mainly the Silverstone 2019 is slower, about 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds slower than the 2018. Barcelona is a little bit slower. Paul Ricard is a tiny little bit slower, and Spa almost the same. Almost the same. That's mainly that. Thank you, guys. All right. So, as usual, the first thing to do are pressures. I think we had a little bit too low pressures at the rear. So let me go up by 2 here, something like this, and we can try again. I could also use some extra stability at the rear because of the weight at the front. So maybe a little bit more tall, tiny little bit. Maybe on the next live stream we can do 1, 2, 3 steps on how to set up a GT4 car. Okay, so for now we just do a couple of laps more, and then we'll call it a night because it's already past midnight. So yeah, let's not do too much stuff. More sound. Yeah, more sound. 40, something like this. Okay, and let's go. Yep. The overall best car does not exist. There are at least 6 cars, GT3 cars, that can win in any circuit, and there are practically almost all the GT4 cars that can win in any circuit. They are that balanced. So I don't know something about the drivers' graphs on consoles. I don't know what is going to happen with that. Possibly, as the console matures, I believe there will be probably possible to do, but I don't know for sure, so I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the whole thing is controlled by the server, so I don't believe there is an issue. We'll see. Well, I really hope so. They will add the 4th version of the console. It should have been there already. I don't know why it was taken out. Let's go slow and safe for now. Except Ginetta Porricar. You're right, CC Driver. You're right. I don't know in controller, honestly. I mean, as I said, there are at least 4 to 6 cars that can win on any circuit. If you want something easy to start with, I would go with the Aston or the Lexus or the Nissan or the Bentley. But they are really hard to go up to top speed because you really have to bring lots of speed inside the turns. On the other hand, cars like the Porsche or the Audi or the McLaren, they are really fast, but really hard instantly. I mean, they don't forgive you at all. They don't forgive you at all, even if you try to take it safe. Not yet. We'll see about that. About the chicane. Second kink, and the accelerator is down. Thank you, Darksea, for following. All right. Oh, tortellini. Ah, that's not stable here. I like it. Thanks, Daniel. No, third gear here didn't work properly. Yeah, I'm losing time. Second kid. Yeah. Yep. That's better. Oh, come on. Ah. You see, I went too wide there. I've lost all the acceleration. Look how much time I'm losing now. Yeah. Terrible. Nice. Let's do a 204. Nice. Yeah, come on. Why? Terrible. Lost everything. Come on, turn. Whoa. Look what a better exit does. Even with that bad lap, I'm still at 0 on the delta, and even negative now because I had a proper exit there. And still not a good lap. See you, Tour. Take care, mate. Ah, that's better here. Yeah, finally. So. Oh, come on. I've lost everything and the lap. That's okay, that's okay. Practice. Good stuff. Oh, Dorifto. Only a couple of seconds behind Tortellini, but I'm full fuel, race fuel. I hope Tortellini did a 2:02 in qualifying. That's better. That's even better. Come on, do it properly. The dreadful turn. I hate you. I hate this turn. I hate you. Well, we're doing 205 flat, 204 high pretty consistently with full fuel load. That's not bad. That was bad. Ciao, Te Amusante! That's the girl. Again, I remind you guys, Te Amusante with the Sim Grid, they are doing a girl series, Sim Racers, which is great. Really, really love to see that stuff. Ah, lost it here. Yeah, tonight I just cannot make that turn. I'm doing all the bad lines possible. Nice, well done. All right, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. Let's see the sequence. Okay, guys, so I guess that's it for tonight. Do you have any questions on the chat? It's already almost 1 o'clock. Ooh, the chat is silent. Finally, nobody's talking. Tess was asking about how to execute a proper counter steer. We have a video about that. Let me find it for you, mate. I've made a specific video, and I believe it will help you a lot. So let me see, where is it? Where is the video? Where's the video? Did anybody found the video? CC Driver. He has all the links. I've answered about the books. I've told you, you have to go to the Your Data Driving. Go here. CC is number one, guys. CC is number one. Tess, all you need to know is the realignment. The counter steering, it will come to you easily. Just, try to push the car into oversteer, and you see that you can counter steer. That's not a big issue. It's the realignment that gets you. We have explained also springs in the step number 3 of how to set up your car. All right. Okay, guys, so I guess that's it for tonight. And what can I say? I guess, yeah, it's late, so let's call it a night. That was terrible. Let's call it a night and see you. I mean, the things that I want to do in the very near future next week, I want to start training with the team for the 12 hours of Nurburgring. So I want you guys to meet my co-drivers, so we can have all together a training session and show you some tips on the setup, how we arrived on this very nice setup we are driving, and stuff like that. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I hope you had a great and interesting live stream. And see you next time. Take care.